Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me for this free masterclass. I'm going to go ahead and get started straight away because I know quite a few people are either joining us now or they won't be able to see it until the recording later. So that is totally fine. I'm so excited to be here and to share with you my mindset formula for launching. It's a bit of a summary of everything I know, all the brain training techniques, and I really do believe that it makes all the difference. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen, and we'll get straight on into it. Cool. So just feel free to write whatever you like in the chat box as we go. Say hello, tell me what your business is, why you're here, whatever you like, really. I don't really have a plan of what goes into the group chat box, but it's always nice to get feedback along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's the mindset formula for launching. And a little bit about me. So I have a husband, Jim. He's pretty loud and fun and adventurous. And I have a daughter, Nola, who's 3, and a dog, Lacey, who's a Kelpie. I live in Anna Bay. I've just moved here recently from Newcastle, and I like long walks on the beach. I'm also loud, super fun, and a wee bit rebellious. I'm a mindset coach, clinical hypnotherapist, master neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, emotional freedom technique practitioner, and I've also got a double degree in business and art psychology. So I actually started off in the field of psychology, but then interestingly enough, didn't become a psychologist, went on to do a whole bunch of rehab counselling. And how did I get here? So I was pretty disgruntled with the world of psychology. I was working with a lot of people who had PTSD. And then I went and had my daughter, and I got postnatal depression. I went and saw a whole bunch of different people. I saw a psychologist, I saw a psychiatrist, I went on medication, I got all different types of help. And it wasn't until I found hypnotherapy that I really found that I was able to trust myself, my ability to manage my own emotions. But it's got so much more fun from there. So I started off as a hypnotherapist doing general hypnotherapy, helping people quit smoking, lose weight, change their behavior. I still run an anxiety clinic because that's where I came from. And that will always be a soft spot for me. But now what I'm really passionate about is helping business women really work on their mindset and not so that we only get rid of or clear the mindset blocks, but so that we can have an optimal mindset in business. And for me, it really is that we are continuously growing our mindset in business, and that if we stay on the forefront and do lots of mindset work, it will actually propel our business forward. And I am definitely seeing that with my clients. And that is just so exciting for me. So I'm totally obsessed with the power of the mind and anything brain training or scientific with regards to the mind. And I have always believed you can do anything you set your mind to. I just now have the processes to back this up, which is pretty cool. So a little bit about you. You may be getting ready for your next launch of a course or membership. You may be afraid to promise big outcomes. You may be afraid of burnout. You may be frustrated by your inability to follow through with that launch plan. You may be frustrated that your results don't quite match your level of effort. You may be wanting to go next level in your biz, and you've got a sneaky little suspicion that mindset's going to be the key for you. So a little bit about today. I'm going to go through my mindset formula for launching, setting up a easy and simple launch plan and how important that is. Then we're going to go through my specific launch remedies that I teach people and accountability so that you can really stay on track with your launch. Then we're going to go through and have some time to really create a plan based on everything we've gone through. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about an advanced mindset formula. So where you can go next level. We're going to talk through some case studies, some questions, and then of course at the end, how you can work with me if it feels like the right time for you. So mindset formula for launching. For me, it really is having that easy and simple launch plan, plus the daily mindset activities and the accountability. I believe that these three things, and I'm teaching you all of this today, I'm not holding back, but I believe that these three things will really help you go next level when you're launching something. So an easy and simple launch plan. We tend to really overcomplicate our launch plan. Smart launching isn't about doing all of the things. So I'm pretty sure that this one will resonate with a lot of people, because when we often go into launch, it feels like we want to cover all angles. But we tend to overcomplicate our launch plans because of mindset issues. So the fear that it's not enough, that we're not enough, the belief that it needs to be hard. And sometimes these will be really not that easy to see, but if you really start to get honest with yourself, you'll be able to see that that's sort of what's underneath. So my launch remedies, they're all under 5 minutes each. And I've got 5 of them that I want to go through with you today. So there's a meaning brainstorm, a negative thought diffuser, an emotional release window, an anchor. Today we're going to do courage, which is just so exciting for me, and a future visualization, which is a visualization of your future. So the meaning brainstorm. In order to feel something negative, and I say negative with an apostrophe, I don't really believe that all emotions are negative, but I mean any emotions are negative, but in order to feel something negative, so something that we don't want to feel, we have given whatever is going on around us a meaning. So for example, for years I was asking Jim to get me flowers for my birthday. Year on, year out, he would come home with no flowers, even though I had asked him. So I would go straight to this internal rage, this anger. Retrospectively, now that I know these techniques, what was I making this mean? I was making this mean, him not coming home with flowers, I was making it mean that he didn't love me. It was as simple as that. It was like black and white for me. No flowers equals he doesn't love me. So what else could I make it mean? And this is the technique. So we look at all the different meanings that we could come up with. We brainstorm them. I could make it mean he and Nola had a different surprise for me. He had had a tough day at work and was really struggling. Maybe he's not feeling well. Maybe he's even been to the doctor and only been given 3 months to live. And you can see that's a bit of tongue in cheek there, but you can see that I don't need to believe the other meanings. Simply brainstorming that range of different meanings will instantly shift my emotional state. And we don't even need to believe the other meanings. So if we do it to a business example, we could be feeling shitty about a $0 day. And I see this happen time and time again. But what are we really making those $0 days mean? We are not good enough. We are not going to reach our goals. What else could we make it mean? Maybe that $0 day is just reflective of the gorgeous ability to bring in larger sums of income. Maybe it's making room for us to bring in a smaller number of payments, but that are larger in value. So you can see very quickly that by brainstorming these different meanings that will shift you very quickly out of $0 days feel shit. Okay, cool. So that's the first technique. And you can use this, you know, in the moment. You can practice this, etc. So negative thought diffuser. So I want you to go ahead and think of a time that you were last experiencing negative thinking. You might see this as, you might call it something different. You might call it worry. You might call it mind chatter. You might call it rumination. You might call it staying up at night and really like that hyper thinking about my business all of the time, but it's not really in a positive space. And I want you to get a sense of those thoughts. And feel free, if it is safe to do so, and if you feel drawn to, feel free to close your eyes if you like, but obviously not if you're driving. So just get a sense of those thoughts. Just connect with them for a second. And now I want you to point with your finger to where you think those thoughts are coming from. So you point to the part of your brain that you think those thoughts are coming from. Might be the front of your brain, might be the back of your brain, it doesn't really matter. Just simply point to where you think they're coming from. If you were to know, where would they be coming from? Now, in your imagination, I want you to go ahead and turn down the volume of those thoughts. Just pretend that you can. Turn down the volume of those thoughts. And as you do that, what do you notice? Good. So now I want you to pretend that you can pick up those thoughts and move them to a different part of your brain. What do you notice now? Really pretend. You may even like to physically do it. Point to the part of your brain that you think the thoughts are coming from, and then physically like move your hand to represent where you're moving the thoughts to. And what do you notice now? The biggest feedback that I get, and this is both with women in business and in my anxiety clinic, is I sort of feel nothing. Some people even say I sort of feel empty. I feel clearer or lighter. And so this is really like when we get in that negative thought pattern, when we get in that worry, that is a brain patterning thing. So when it's a brain patterning thing, it's like a habit. It's a behavior that we have learnt over time. But what this does, instead of just thinking positively or trying to come over the top with affirmations, this really just diffuses the thought. Your brain does not know what to do. It's like you're jumping onto a different neural pathway and strengthening that pathway. Cool. So that is the negative thought diffuser, my friends. The next one is called the emotional release window. So for this one, again, if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes, but you don't need to close your eyes. And I want you to think of a time when you were overwhelmed. Simply thinking back to the last time or one of the last times when you were overwhelmed. It can be in business or it can be in life. It doesn't really matter. Where can you feel it in your body? Is it in your chest? Is it in your head? Is it in your stomach? It'll be different for everyone. What would you rate it out of 10? 10 being the strongest. Now, in your imagination, I want you to give that sensation in your body a colour. If it were to be a colour, what would it be? Just pretend that you know. Now imagine and pretend that you can let that colour and sensation out through the window or door over the top of that part of your body. Imagining that as though you're a 10-year-old. Simply imagining that there is a big window or door over the top of the part of your body that you can feel this sensation in. Open it right up and start to let that color out. You may like to visualize the color leaving as helium balloons or smoke or slime. You just do whatever works for you. And just keep imagining that it's leaving your body, little by little, bit by bit, pretending that you can feel and see it leaving your body now. What do you notice now? What would you rate it out of 10 now? Good. And so the biggest feedback that I get from this one is that it really, like, I've had people do this exercise and they can go from an 8 down to a 2, or from a 6 down from a 3, or it might, if it's a really intense one and people are new to this exercise, it might go from like an 8 to a 6. It doesn't really matter. We don't want any judgment or expectations on this. It's simply showing you that you can release this emotion in the moment. And P.S., this one's really good for kids. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and how you found that activity, if you can. And we'll move on to the next one. So this one's about anchoring, and you would have heard about anchoring. So once we've learned how we can process our emotions and release our emotions, and I believe this is a pivotal skill in business, because the biggest thing that people tell me is that they want to feel more energy, or they want to feel more confidence, or they want to feel less stressed, or they want to feel less overwhelmed, or they want to whatever. So actually what we need to do is return to basics. And how do we process our emotions? How do we clear our emotions in the moment? How can we do that for ourselves? But then the next very cool step is, how do we step into these new sensations, the emotions that we want in our day, more energy, more confidence. And the one that I have chosen for today is courage. And courage is so exciting to me, because I think that if you can have courage in your business, you will fly. Like, there is just no doubt about it in my mind. If you can step into courage each and every day and do the things that scare you, that is like the best, right? And so when we're in business, we have this, it's like we have this imaginary boundary around us of what feels safe and comfortable. But if we choose courage every single day and we know how to step into courage, it expands that boundary for us each and every day, and expands what is possible for us. Cool. So let's go ahead and anchor courage. And then this is one that you can use on a daily basis. And we're gonna anchor it today so that you don't have to set it up in the future. So today we're going to build this anchor for courage that you can fire in order to cultivate this feeling of courage. So we know about triggers. So triggers are actually when we've associated an image or a sound to a feeling. Like maybe every time we see a bike near a car and we've previously been in a car accident, as we almost got hit, we then get triggered into this big emotional response. So we're going to use this natural phenomenon in reverse to set up a positive trigger or an anchor. That's what an anchor is. It's using a trigger in a positive sense. So we're going to associate these images, etc., with this feeling of courage. So for the anchor, we will use is pressing your thumb and middle finger together. And I'm just going to turn my video on so that you can see me. So we'll be pressing our thumb and our middle finger together. And if you would like to, you can close your eyes. But if not, don't press your fingers together yet. And I just want you to think back to a time when you felt naturally courageous. So just think back to a time in your past. It doesn't matter how old you were. Think back to a time in your past when you felt naturally courageous. And when you've got a time there, just pick any time. It can be a moment in time. It can be a big experience. And it can be in any type of activity. It doesn't need to be business. Cool. So now in your imagination, I want you to step into that experience as though you are really there. Feel that sensation in every cell in your body, that courage. Pretend and imagine that you can feel that sensation of courage in every cell of your body. Now I want you to pretend and imagine that you can turn up the dial on that sensation so that you feel it stronger, even more powerfully, even more courageous. And only when it's feeling nice and big and strong, I want you to go ahead and press your thumb and your middle finger together, collecting that sensation, anchoring that sensation into your fingers, holding that for 10 seconds. Beautiful work. So we're going to do this another couple of times, letting go of your fingers and going back to a different time when you felt courageous. So I'm going to do this with you, going back to a different moment in time or experience where you felt courageous. Picking one, going back to that time, and then stepping into that experience as though you were really there. Good. So that you can feel that sensation of courageousness in every cell in your body. Just pretend that you can. Imagine that you can. And now I want you to go ahead and pretend that you've got a dial that you can turn up on that sensation so that you feel it bigger, even more powerfully, even more courageous. And only when it's feeling big and powerful and strong, I want you to go ahead and collect that anchor again for 10 seconds, bringing your thumb and your middle finger together. Good. We're going to do one more time. Letting go of your fingers now. I want you to go back to a different time when you felt nice and courageous. Thinking about a moment in time or an experience. It can be when you're a kid. Doesn't matter how old you are. Thinking back to a time when you felt really courageous. Good. Pick that one. Stepping into that experience and really feeling that sensation in your body. Pretend like you are actually there. Imagine as if you are there. Feeling that sense of courageousness in every cell in your body. Now pretending and imagining that you've got a dial and you can turn up that sensation in your body. Turning it right up. And then anchoring that sensation simply by bringing your thumb and your middle finger together. Good. Well done. Cool. Feeling pretty courageous? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go out into the future to an experience where you would like to feel more courageous. So now I want you to think of a future time when you feel more when you want to feel more courageous. It could be for a Facebook Live or a public speaking event or a webinar that's coming up or a launch or a whatever, doesn't matter. When you would like to feel more courageous, imagine yourself in that time and then go ahead and fire that anchor. Simply by bringing your thumb and your middle finger back together, and notice how this changes things. Pretend and imagine and play out in your imagination exactly as you would like it to go. Exactly as you would like it to pan out. Good. Beautiful work. And so now, coming back to me now, opening your eyes if you've got them closed. And so now you can use that anchor whenever you like. So you can wake up in the morning before you're doing anything in relation to your business, and you can fire that anchor simply by bringing your thumb and your middle finger together. And I'm going to go use that one this afternoon. Cool. No worries. So that is anchoring courage. So this one is my favorite. The next one is future visualization. So what do you dream your business to be like? And this is really the key. If you take one thing home from or back to your business, it's that you need to be able to visualize your future in order for it to happen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you need to be able to visualize it. You need to be able to feel comfortable with it. You need to be able to connect with your vision so that your subconscious can really get comfortable with that. Your subconscious brain cannot differentiate between whether you've just imagined something or whether it's really happened. So we're going to imagine it really freaking well so that it makes it much easier for it to happen, and so that then you're not self-sabotaging yourself. Cool. So again, if you can, close your eyes. If you can't, don't. You can do it open eyes, closed eyes, doesn't matter. And I want you to take in a couple of deep breaths so that we can just go and sink into that beautiful, bit more of a relaxed state. Good. So now I want you to imagine and pretend that you can see your dream business exactly as you want it to be. Just allow whatever pops into your head to pop into your head. Try not to filter anything. Simply imagine and let your creative mind go wild. What does your ideal normal day look like? What pops into your head? What does your ideal day look like? What do you do when you get up in the morning? How do you wake up? What do you eat for breakfast? Where do you eat your breakfast? How do you start your day? What happens in the middle of your day? What happens at the end of your day? How do you close down your day? What do you do in the evenings? Do you have a nighttime ritual? What does that look like? Feel like? Good. It'll feel like I'm going through this quickly, but don't worry. There's more of this to come, and you can always come back. What do you want to be doing in your business? What services do you want to be running? What activities do you want to be doing? What will you have outsourced? Visualize your clients and what it's like to work with them. How spacious or busy does your business feel? How many hours do you want to be working per week? How many weeks of the year do you want to be working? How do you want to be behaving? What will you look like? How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel every day? How do you want to feel with your clients? How do you want to feel about your bookkeeping? About your systems? about all those little things, your customer service, your client sessions. How many clients are you seeing in a week? What are your prices like? How much money are you earning? How do you want to be behaving? What do you want your business to feel like? Is it energy? Is it freedom? Is it satisfaction? Is it energizing? What do you want to be thinking to yourself? Is it something like, I've got this? I'm so grateful. Good. And for those that were able to play along, you may even like to do a journaling session after this. That could be a really good one, to really start to capture what you want your dream future to look like. And I really want you to encourage you to try and take all of the barriers and resources that you don't have out of the equation. Cool. So that's a really fun one, as you can imagine. So you feel free to continue with that activity as we keep going, or come back to me by opening your eyes, whatever works for you. Pretty loose. Jump around a bit. Oops. Definitely jumping around now. Okay, so the next thing that you need is the accountability. You need a person or plan to keep you on task, especially when you're at this stage of business. So your business is doing really well, but you're going next level in your business. And so often we don't have that intrinsic accountability. So we need to go external. So this is something that's really going to help you in your launch plan. Who can you right now, who can you help, like who can you imagine to help you keep you on task? Who can help keep you accountable? Is it your strategist? Is it your mindset coach? Sorry. Is it your biz bestie? Is it a buddy? Is it someone who you can just call on? Is it a family member? There's obviously pros and cons with family member, but that's okay. So essentially, to sum up, we've got the mindset formula for launching. We've got an easy and simple launch plan, plus these daily mindset activities, or my launch remedies, and the accountability to really keep you on track, and you will be firing ahead. So what is your plan from here? What will you do to help develop your launch plan? So we're just going to we're going to take a couple of minutes to go through these questions. So if you're listening to the replay, feel free to pause, etc. But what will you do to help develop a launch plan? Like, do you have a launch plan? Who could help you with your launch plan? What will you do to simplify your launch plan? What can you leave out? What does not need to be in there? What will make it easier for you? What will you do to ensure you are focused on the right actions? So how can you, like one of the things that I do with my clients is we actually do a lot of strategy stuff, but it's not me telling them the strategy, it's them picking the strategy. And one of the ways that we do this is we can do a hypnosis or a meditation, so that they're really going down to their subconscious level, which one feels right. Because normally we know all the answers, we just get distracted by all the shiny objects. So what will you do to ensure you are focused on the right actions? So what is your plan from here? Continued. Which of the 5-minute activities resonated the most? So was it the meaning brainstorm? Are you just going to catch yourself when you are feeling negative about something? So when you're feeling overwhelmed, are you going to then ask yourself, what am I making this mean? What else could I make this mean? When you're feeling frustrated, what am I making this mean? What else could I make this mean? Or you could even make it a daily activity of what was the last time I felt a negative emotion, and then do the meaning exercise. So you can either do it in the moment or as a daily activity. Same with the negative thought diffuser. So really catching that worry, and instead of thinking, I'm just going to think positively, let's move the thoughts. Let's turn them down. The emotional release window. So same, either in the moment or as a daily activity, going back to the last time that you felt that negative emotion, frustration, overwhelm, stressed, anxious. Imagine that it's a color. Where is it in your body? And start to let it out through the window or door. Oh, good. I'm so glad you love the thought diffuser, Tanya. Cool. I love it too. I love it too. As a little secret, the negative thought diffuser actually helped me overcome intrusive thoughts. So when I had postnatal anxiety. So that's how, like, we're going back to basics here because we're not talking about anxiety per se. But that's how powerful it is. It totally diffuses those thoughts. But you've got to practice it. The emotional release window, and then the anchor of courage. So when can you use your anchor? Try it out. I'd love to hear from you. Is it working? For me, all of this stuff is a big experiment. So you don't have to resonate with every single technique that I give you. It's more about finding the thing that works for you. And that's why I love utilizing a whole range of different techniques, because in my work with clients, if people don't want to tap, they don't tap. If people don't want to do hypnosis, they don't do hypnosis. We might have a play around with it and work out why they're resisting something, but otherwise we just go with whatever works for them. And then future visualization. This is one of the, if you can't choose, this is probably the one that I would pick. Because it really is there's so much research coming out about visualization. You need to be able to visualize your future in order to achieve it. So can you block out 5 minutes a day to do one of these things during your launch? Maybe try over the next week, even just incorporating it in your business. And then how will you create the external accountability for yourself? And so that might be through a buddy of some sort, a strategist, a mindset coach, or what have you. Cool. So now we are actually watering our garden. We get to sit back and watch it grow. But would you like to add some fertilizer? So obviously all of these tips are going to help you. They're totally things that I teach my clients. They, you've listened to how much they work. But my advanced mindset formula for launching is everything I've just taught you: easy and simple launch plan, daily mindset activities, accountability, plus working intensively with a practitioner. And so for me, this really does give you the optimal mindset and accelerated business growth. So it's not just for people who have mindset problems, wobbles, issues, limiting beliefs. Most of the people that I work with wouldn't categorize themselves as that person. They're people who just know the power of mindset work and know how much it can propel us forward. So working intensively with a practitioner. So it really allows you to dig into the subconscious deep stuff, which we normally resist or can't see when we go it alone. So your brain is designed to keep you safe, especially your limbic brain. And it really does try and keep you safe. And even myself as a mindset coach, I can't do the intensive work on myself. There are certain things, I'm probably better at it than the average Joe Blogs, but there's just, for me, when a client comes to me, their problem is black and white. When I have a problem, not black and white, baby. It's like muddy waters. I need someone to trudge through that shit with me. Excuse the language. Brain training tools that are proven to work. So this is a really important one. So I use hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, emotional freedom technique. We do metaphors. We do archetypes. There's so much stuff. I'm currently studying thought field therapy. There is so many different techniques, and they're all having science come out behind them. And actually, when I did my training, a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists are training in these methodologies now. because they are proven to work. So for me, like, there's mindset activities that can help get you in a good mindset and a high vibe mindset. Like, you can do exercise, and you can do journaling, and you can do like dancing, and you can listen to music, and you can, like, whatever works. And I totally encourage people to incorporate all of that stuff into their day. But then what are the things that are really going to change the neural pathways in your brain? Because doing something like journaling is really good. Like, I totally get my clients to journal, but it's a little bit like jumping on the scales. It's taking an assessment of where you're at, and then there's a 50-50 chance of whether you're going to work through that mindset block or not. Like, that could be, you know, definitely jumping on the scales when you're 150 kilos could be the thing that triggers you to totally change your life. But then also there could be a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with that, where you need the proven techniques to really take you through the journey. So then having that external accountability so that you can really develop that consistent mindset practice that actually works. And during the process, we will transition you to internal accountability. So that internal locus of control. And I think this is really important, because obviously that is the goal. And one of the things that I really teach my clients to do is trust themselves. And so if they're having like a bit of a funny thing with a strategist, or they can't work out what to do, we can very quickly work out which way to go based on their, like, it's not me telling you what to do, it's working out what feels good for their subconscious. And yeah, for the stuff they all know. So it also gives you the clear vision and ability to connect with it. So you're really able to expand your belief of what is possible for you. And so it's really like imagining that boundary again around you. And these are all the things that you're comfortable with and that you believe that you can achieve. But in order to achieve the next things, we need to expand that belief about what is possible for us. So you will gain incredible momentum in totally optimizing your mindset, and therefore revolutionizing your results. Now, this is the first time that I really have like spoken like this, because to me sometimes it feels a bit salesy, but I just cannot share with you enough the power of our brain. If we train our brains it's like performance coaching rather than helping you out of struggle street. It's on a whole nother level. And it's like how, like, one of my trainers who was a hypnotherapist for the Olympic swim team, it's how can I go faster? How can I go bigger? How can I expand that belief of what is possible for me? So if we don't work on our nervous system and our limbic brain in conjunction with expanding your vision is most likely to be the cause of the stress response in the brain. So this is the most common thing that happens to people. So a client, a businesswoman, will come to me, and in their first session, we might do some work on their future, and they'll say, I wasn't able to see it clearly. I wasn't able to connect with it. I couldn't see it. It felt really clunky. And the reason is that you really need to do the nervous system work with your limbic brain, really settle and calm your nervous system before you do the big visualizations in order to get the best results. You can totally visualize without this, and it will keep propelling you forward, but not like this does. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. In that last visualization, I actually saw my business as a third being set free, and I cried. Amazing. Oh, Tanya, that makes me so happy. And love the anchoring exercise. Thanks, Natalie. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear it. I really do live and breathe this stuff, if you can't tell already. So I'm just going to go through a couple of case studies. I've got the beautiful Arit, who is just a beautiful client. She originally signed up for a 12-session package, and she has just renewed. Like, that is how, to me, that is testimonial to how much she believes the mindset work propels her forward. And yeah, so I'll read a little bit to you. So this amazing woman guides me deeply into my subconscious instantly so that I can crush my business money mindset blocks and fully trust myself in everything that I do. I especially had a really hard time in February when I felt like maybe I just couldn't do this business thing. This was, of course, right before my first $5,000, $10,000 and $15,000 month. And she adjusted her schedule to meet with me that week ASAP. I love the crisis calls, PS. And I shouldn't laugh. The metaphor, sorry, I just got it. Sorry, I just got a funny throat. The metaphor that we dove into in my subconscious was so powerful that day. I just wanted to give up in my subconscious exploration, but Anthea helped me keep going so I could find a way through. This helped me keep going on the path to my major business expansion, knowing that I can really do it. That belief that I can do it was the most important thing I didn't have that was holding me back. Seriously, if you don't believe in yourself, it's pretty hard to expect potential clients to believe and trust in you. And I would not describe Arit when she came to me as somebody who didn't believe in herself per se. Like, she is a therapist herself. She believed in herself, but she just didn't have the belief that the next goal she wanted to achieve was possible for her. So the next case study is from the gorgeous Belinda Gill, and she just wrote to me the other day and wrote this beautiful testimonial. Working with Anthea makes my launches and my business so much easier. On the days when I feel like I'm getting in my own way or the self-doubt creeps in, I just pop her a message and she is always there with a quick little mindset hack to help me recalibrate. I hate to think how much time and energy I would lose to procrastination and overwhelm without Anthea on my team. She's my one-woman cheer squad. And I really do enjoy being that person for people. And I can just feel myself going even more that way. Like, I get so excited for my clients. And these are not people who are having massive mindset wobbles. You know, they would not describe themselves as somebody who is struggling with their mental health or struggling with, like, they have successful businesses. It just means that you can create this beautiful momentum and smash through each thing as it comes up. So then the next thing, so I'd love to invite you for questions. If you would like to ask any questions, please pop them down in the comments box. And now I'm just going to talk briefly about how you can work with me. So what I am promoting at the moment is my 4-month mindset package for launching. And it is going so well. So last month I launched it for the first time and I sold 7 packages, and I've now onboarded all of those clients, and they are the most beautiful clients, and we are already seeing exciting results, and most of them would only be up to like their 3rd session. So it's absolutely so cool. I'm just so happy that I decided with this 4-month mindset package. So it includes 12 1-hour intensive mindset coaching sessions, and normally we do the first the first 8 are weekly, and then the next 4 are fortnightly. But I'm pretty flexible. Like, if we need to change that up because of holidays or even just because of preference, we do. Unlimited Facebook Messenger support. So that's when you've got a webinar or a client or a whatever and you're having a bit of a mindset wobble, and you can jump in there for support on the go. I've often got on calls with people. The other thing that people use it for is, like, they do a bit of journaling on what have they noticed in between sessions, so that we can come back to that in the next session. We do customized hypnosis. I've put 1 here, but normally my clients end up with 4 or 5 because we're constantly refining that hypnosis. And it's a hypnosis that they can listen to daily. So you imagine that visualization, it's like that visualization process we did before on steroids. This is the way that you really get your subconscious brain used to what you want your future to look like, so that it's like it's already happened, so that you feel so comfortable with it, you don't self-sabotage yourself. So you also get access to a folder of tools to reinforce the work that we have done. So you get audios for all of those techniques that we have gone through so that you can do them whenever you want. I also teach you how to do them without the audios. The other really cool thing is that often I get other mindset coaches or healers or hypnotherapists, or I have a psychologist at the moment, and we really utilize whatever modality you are already in. So for instance, with Oreet, she is a dance therapist, and I would get her to move, and moving is not my thing. I'm not a movement hypnotherapist, but I just knew that I would pick up on the way that she would work, and I would go, how would you do this for your clients? And we would incorporate some of that. And so that is a really beautiful thing that kind of takes place. We will develop our own way of working together. I've only got 3 spots available. So because my launch was so successful before, I just have to stagger how often I'm bringing people in now. And I've only got 3 spots available at the moment, and it's not likely to shift anytime soon. It's 2,000 Australian dollars, and there are payment plans available. And if you would like to, I'd love to offer a free discussion or chat or coffee or whatever you want to call it, to see if this is right for you. And it's totally obligation free. Like it is not my style to sell you anything. It's a chat about what I offer, whether it feels good to you, whether now's the time. Like I can talk you through whatever your questions are. And then obviously there's payment plans available and will be discussed on the call. So a couple of questions that came through were, let me just go. A lot of people say, can I do the 4-month package if I'm not launching? And you totally can. Like a lot of my clients, they just know that they want the mindset support on an intensive level so that they can break through to that next level of income in their business. And so no, you don't need to be launching anything. Sometimes we even cover off 2 launches in the time. So if we extend the sessions over a 6-month period, you've got the opportunity to launch twice. And so you get that beautiful launch support over a 6-month period. You totally need this to help me focus on my next upcoming retreat. Cool, Natalie. Well, if you're interested, just send me an email and we'll book in a chat and we can just have a convo as to how it might work for you. And what techniques do I use? I think I already kind of covered this off. Hypnotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, emotional freedom technique, metaphors, archetypes, journaling, you name it, I kind of do it. And will the recording last is another question that often gets asked. And the answer is yes. Like you can listen to the recording whenever you like. The only time when you won't be able to listen to the customized hypnosis audios again, or you might not want to, is when you have outgrown your vision. Then it's time for a new one. It's as simple as that. Cool. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to close it up there. But thank you so much to everyone for joining me. I have absolutely loved sharing these techniques with you. I am so grateful that I have found clients that I love to work with and that I can help. And yeah, if you have any questions, feedback, comments, email me at info@antheacutler.com. And yeah, I can't wait to speak to you or see you around online. I think you could also call this the suite of sessions, grow your business. Yeah, totally. Thanks, Tanya. Okay, cool. Bye-bye now.